I left the United States when I was 27 years old in 1962. 27 years old. And I come to Canada. I came to BC. I've lived here for almost 50 years. My children and my grandchildren were born in Victoria. I'm a Canadian, but it's complicated. When those bastards crashed into the Twin Towers, I cried. And I said on Czech TV at the time that I was reborn an American, baptized in my own tears. It's complicated. I'm an American, I'm a Canadian. These two essences are combined in my soul. In 1963, I was an 18-year-old machine gunner in Fort Polk, Louisiana. I joined the Army. I was an Army reservist in the infantry. The machine gun was bigger than me. When I showed up that afternoon at the company compound, O'Neill, the red-hatted Irishman, the company clerk, was crying. He was the first one who told me that Kennedy was murdered. The president was dead. In his tears. But it's complicated because in the same company compound, I saw the Southerners, Felt and Baldwin, and a lot of Texans who were laughing and partying, joking. You see, Kennedy was an integrationist. They were glad he was dead. It was a celebration for these guys. It's complicated. It's the United States of America. That's a very complicated place. Later, when I became a social worker in East LA, a guy pulled a knife on me. A client, the guy that I was trying to help, pulled a knife on me because I was exhorting him. And in my passion and enthusiasm, exhilaration, I was yelling. And he took it very badly and felt threatened. I looked at that night and I froze. I was scared. I've never been scared in Canada. It's complicated. When I came to BC, I was walking down the streets. One of the first mornings I was here in Vancouver, and there was a cop coming the other way. And of course, I avoided his gaze. I never looked at cops. They were nothing but problems for me. I was a long-haired hippie. And this cop passed by me, and he looked at, and he glanced over and he said, "Good morning." I was shocked. I was really surprised. What's this cop doing saying hello to me? I was afraid to look at him. I didn't want to provoke him to think that my stare might have been, threatening. It's complicated. Later in Parksville that morning, I went running up to the credit union in Parksville, and I needed to get some money out of the bank. And the door was closed. I just missed it. I got off the Flaskety ferry and I missed it. I missed it, and no ATMs in those days. And the clerk saw me and the teller came over and opened the door and let me in after closing. Those two incidences stay in my mind years later as real differences between Canadian and American society. That cop and that teller who let me in. But it's complicated. I mean, we Canadians have as many guns as Americans. We just don't shoot each other. And in Canada, if you're poor, you might survive. In America, if you don't have any money, the size of your wallet will determine sometimes whether you live or die. It's complicated. So I love Canada. But there's an American lurking in me somewhere. They're very much integrated into my soul. Canada is a kinder and nicer place to live, and I'm so glad I came here. I'm so pleased for my children, for all of us, particularly in the COVID times when we displayed a certain sensitivity, not to mention a logic and a reasonable mindset that favors science. And to go through those Trump years, my poor girlfriend Janet in Phoenix, what she's had to endure, what all of us have had to endure with this ogre hovering over us and this stupidity that tortures Americans. I mean, we were lucky enough not to go through a revolution not to go through a civil war, not to go through slavery and this ongoing racism that torments America and mangles, disfigures their society. Not that we didn't mistreat our own Native children. We're still digging up the new graves. But we didn't fight wars of extermination, not purposeful wars anyway. So it is a different society, and I'm very, very grateful to be here. Very grateful to be here. Yeah.